Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.
And this is one of the exercises which demonstrate to people that kids, when you give this to kids, what they will do? They will not think. They will not try to plan. They will play with it to make it work. When you give this to engineers, what will happen?
Blueprints come out.
Blueprints come out. So the right challenge usually is, can you do it in like 3 minutes? Is you can do it like, I wanted to show different behaviors of the same exercise. However, the exercise usually, can you do it in 3 minutes? Can you do it in 7 minutes? If you have lawyers or engineers in the room, as a full group of lawyers or full group of engineers, they will never touch the pieces. They will keep drawing it, figuring it out. They will not do any structure. It's only kids and high school kids, from grade 1 to 6 kids who will win in this competition if you do it on time. Because they will do it and suddenly one of them will work. This time is the first time to see some perceptions like, I want to make it mine. I want to create a flower out of it. I don't feel I fit. I don't feel I get what I want to do. So I don't want to escape because I'm a challenger one. So I will do it in my own way. I will do it as a flower. So when somebody's hiding it as a flower, she's trying to put her own power or his own power in it, his own fingerprint to it. Because inside, deep inside, she's certain it will never work. So I will do something to compensate with my skills. This is exactly what was going here inside Karen's brain in the very first few moments. Because she just, like when I stopped and tried to get her in, I said, you know, Praveen is just actually stepping over as a leader. She was shying away because she always wins, she always be successful, and she want to be successful, even in this one. And if you notice, till the end, we try to get the group together for the real content, and this group was just trying to make it better, to make it work. Even after we done, Praveen started to waste our colors by coloring it, although it's okay. These attitudes are not right and they are not wrong. This is this individual's attitude you must accept in your life. You must acknowledge the difference they have, the talents they have, what they bring to the table. And if you want to work with somebody like that, or you acknowledge them as friends and you work with whoever else you want to work with. I love when we use this, I'm not using you, but I use the event and the participation of different individuals to demonstrate how really big concepts can very simply be applied to a nonsense project. And you know what make it more nonsense is this have been around for 2 years with me, so that's why they are really hard. Because, yes,
we couldn't even use it for a base.
But if you can tell, if you hold it for some time, it does not come as hard as you can, because with heat,
It melts a little bit.
It's softer a little bit, right?
A little love.
Okay.
A little love.
Okay.
Burn the armpit.
So keeping this in mind, I want to go around. Keeping this in mind, I want to go around the table, and I want you to tell me 3 things, or the top thing you learn from Art Williams' presentation. What is the one thing will stick in your mind? And let's start from Kevin. And maybe we'll go in this way, and then we go in the other way, okay?
The one thing that really stuck into my mind with Art Williams was how he talked about standing for something. I really resonated with that.
Shamir?
What I really liked about him is he said, smart people will never win in business. People who actually do things, people who are actually courageous. That's what I took away from that.
And I know this exactly where you will take away when I remember your website have been on the design for like how long? 3 months now?
Yeah.
Because Shamir, part of him, he's a perfectionist. He likes stuff to be perfect.
Actually,
And I am on the other end. I push him. I say, you know what? Let's just have a mock-up of it, have a model of it, and then share it with group and see what's their feedback. It's good. It's nice. He wants to work it out to the highest level of details.
actually, I realized after doing the value system here, it's got to do with integrity. It's that proper brand. Promise my brand that it'll be of quality and it'll withstand and it won't let you down. Is what's really driving that perfectionist attitude. So it's not perfectionist. It's that value that I put on my brand.
Yes.
And if this is the value of your brand, and I have to ask you for permissions, and I have asked us also to ask for a disclaimer and the consent from others. That's what I will say and what will happen in the very few minutes or few 5 minutes will not be a long time reflections on dealing with this individual in the future. Okay? So the question usually we ask for some argument, like the argument you put forward is, would you rather serve your customers and give them something, or wait as long as you can wait because you're trying to make it perfect? Because you believe, like when I promise you at the end of my advertisement for this workshop we will have fun, okay? So I promise to do so many things. I believe I'm delivering along the way on the promises, and also we have fun. Now, will it be more helpful for you, like what Didri was saying, can we have the forms online? Yes, I can run the whole, we have the PDF version of the book. I have even the HTML where people actually can go and fill this journaling on a daily basis, send it to somebody to evaluate it and return back to them. We have these tools. However, I am not here to deliver at these levels. I am not saying that this level is much better or more sophisticated or more effective than my delivery with the book. I am saying this is a different level than the level we have here, and I'm not here to deliver in that. Now, because I like to meet my clients and customers' expectation, will I deliver and do the extra step for her, yes or no? It's up to me. But if I want to drive, I want everything to be perfect. I want everything to be as I like. Sandy, do you like things to be as you really like them to be?
Do I like them?
Like, do you like to offer people things which you really like?
Yes.
Are you customers of your business? Will you buy your service?
Yes.
Will you buy your service yourself?
Yeah.
Will you pay yourself money to buy your service?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Is anybody here customers of his own service?
Well, I think what he's trying to say is that you're not looking for customers that have your preferences and tastes. You're
Yes.
looking for customers of a target market that may not view perfectionism as much as you do. So to them, we're spending 80% more time getting 20% of the work done to dot the I's and cross the T's. They won't even care. And so he's right. I do tend to do a lot of that. I do tend to be.
Don't make it personal. Don't make it personal.
I'm proud of it, damn it.
I resemble that.
Yeah.
We do
I'm
that.
proud of it.
Yeah.
However, we are not the customers of our products.
Right.
However,
But we
we
wanna
don't
do
buy.
it.
Yeah, but you don't buy your product. You don't get money to pay for yourself to be in a different bank account because you are buying your product. If I want to know what my customers really wants and if it's good enough for them or not, what should I do?
Present it to him.
Ask questions.
Ask questions. Make a survey. Go and say, guys, you know what? I would like, before this workshop, we had plans to have it in the hotel and have this 55 people, and then we have a group who canceled from out of town because of the snow and stuff. And then the hotel said, you know what? We cannot change the numbers and stuff like that. So we said, let's cancel it and have it here. Because I believe, and when we had feedbacks, people said, we like the room setting because we feel like we are all as one group. The engagement and the interaction was good. So before I make this decision, and this maybe 2/3 or maybe half or 2/3 of our workshops will happen here, And we have also a weekly workshop, which is happening here for our standard programs. People like the room. People came and said, we had an office before, remember? We have an office before which has a much bigger room, but it was not that nice. It was not that luxury. It does not have the touch of this architect. So when I go and said, people said, yeah, we like it, but it's very enclosing. The colors are really. So I ask my customers, I ask my clients, I make surveys, I take the response very carefully, and the majority will say something I will follow. Okay? So the point I want to make is, when you do things, you are not the customer of your own product. You should have an early adopter. You should have a small group of people who will try out this program, and then you can ask them questions. Okay? So thank you for letting us to reflect, and can move down one step. Mike, you wanna skip now, or you wanna? Okay, Christine. I know you took lots of notes. I'm so eager to listen to all of them, but I need.
I wrote them all. I'd say, I mean, all of them were great, but I really like make a commitment to what you are about, because even if you're excited, even if you're a dreamer, if you don't do anything, then it doesn't matter.
Do you agree, guys? To share with you a personal story of mine on this, I had a company at the university incubator, and the university came and said, we want to kick you out. So I didn't know how to rent offices here. So I went around. I ended up in another building company called UBG, Unity Building Group, I believe. And when they filed bankruptcy over $600 million. So this was the largest high-end home developers in North America, including Calgary. And they have projects everywhere. They have travel companies. They have so many other businesses. They were dominant at the time. So when I walked inside their office, the owner is really amazing guy. Like, he's like 80-some years old, and when he sees this young professor coming with technology company, he likes the idea. He gave me the space. We rented the space because they were downsizing at the time, 2007. I walked inside his room, and I found in the meeting room there was a big 3 words on the wall. It said, passion is the key. I stand in front of that and I said, like, who said such a thing? So when I moved in and my company grew up to like 45 employees at the time, and we had all these interactions, I started to ask around. He said, this is the philosophy of our company. If you are not passionate to sell new homes and the new constructions, we don't hire you. Because we believe passion is the key. If you are passionate inside, if you have passion for what you do, you will keep doing it. And I augmented that and said, passion and dedication. You have to dedicate yourself. You have to keep doing at it. This is what make me awake. Like today, you know what? How many of you had a good sleep yesterday? How many hours?
7.5.
7.5. You know, for me, I was awake at 3:30 in the morning. I was waiting for the alarm to ring at 6:30, so I go have my shower and come here to wait for you guys. Because I have passion for what I'm doing. So after a very long day, I could not sleep because I like what I do. So if you like what you do and you have dedication and you dedicate your commitment, you commit and dedicate. And how long did he say it takes to win? How long? How? Do you remember what he said about being excited? He said people will be excited for like
30 years.
people will be excited for like few days. Few of us will be excited for few months, and only those who wins will be excited for 30 years. So it takes time. It takes time. If you want to do what you do and you want to switch or create a different business, it takes time. It's not overnight success. So devote yourself, dedicate. And when I listened first to this particular talk, I went back and I played in my house. I remember we played for like more than 3 weeks, every 20 minutes. because I did my PhD in Lafayette, Louisiana, and I love the Monroe accent. And the guy has an accent, but after very few minutes, everybody here did not have problem with his accent. Okay, good. You wanna reflect now?
Yeah. That was the part that kind of stuck with me. Just don't keep the excitement going, not just 1 month, not just 3 months, 90 days, or 1 year, but just find that something that you can grab onto and just keep on persevering and just doing it over and over again. And you might have a couple people that come and you might have a bad day, but you just have to pick yourself up and keep moving towards your goal.
Awesome. Claudia, do you wanna?
Yeah, I was thinking about Art Williams.
Yes.
Yeah, he started with humility, but then all of his stuck, like he couldn't take a breath, and it was all so passionate. He was all so passionate about everything he said. And then in the end, he was passionate about, do it. And he came up with a whole bunch of objections about not doing it, just do it. So the passion in his voice, the passion in his message is very exciting. And it's something people buy passion.
People
And
buy passion, or people feel your passion.
they feel your passion and they buy it. That's why they come and see you.
Okay. You wanna keep going, or is this enough? Keep going? I guess keep going, so. No, we go back now.
Oh, so it's my
Did
turn.
we? Yeah.
Perseverance. That was the main thing. Do it is one thing, but sometimes doing it is going to be really difficult, so you have to persevere through it. So perseverance was what I got off of that.
Did you get the point when you keep doing things? Remember, the insanity was what? Doing the same thing, similar way, and expect different results, right?
Well, yes.
So when somebody will say, do it and do it and do it and do it, it does not necessarily mean you do it in the same way.
No, but perseverance is not just doing it in the same way. Perseverance is, okay, I've done it this way this time, it didn't work for me, I can change this and I'm going to do it again. It's like taking your brand and saying, okay, I'm taking it out there and I'm doing it. Oh, I'm really sick today, but I'm still going to do it. Oh, I've got kids that I got to pick up, or I've got this I got to do. Okay, but I'm going to still do it. It's perseverance.
Okay, that's good. And I want to go to, is your website up or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Because Marcel has his website for the last 3.5 years?
No.
Okay. For the last 2 years.
I own the domains for more than 2 years.
And he develops the websites, and we work on the back of it. But he is one of these perfectionists we know, which comes back from his country and his attitude, and they like to do stuff in the German way. Okay?
If you can't do it right, don't do it at all.
Yeah, so it's good for me to know what make me different and unique. But what's much better is not to make this stop me or stall me or push me back. Yeah, so give you the floor back.
Anyway, I was drawn by the excitement, because that has to stay on long. If it's like the bright shiny object, that doesn't help you. So you have to make sure that what you follow keeps the excitement, is worth keeping the excitement up. And you also talked about the marriage in there, and all the grandkids, so on. So if you're committed then to that excitement, then you're also able to keep the flame,
Keep it going.
keep it going and
Yeah.
running. So that was the most important part for me in there.
Oh, wow. Amr?
Yeah, I got it that first of all he gave a message that have a dream. Without dream you can't do anything. So have
Which
a
is
dream.
Martin Luther King messages, right?
Yeah, so it's have a dream.
Or ABBA.
Oh, no.
And then your tools will be get excited and have a winning attitude, and then at the end get it with your persistency to it.
Raveen?
Main thing I got was the measure of the heart. He talked about integrity, character, and people skills. I agree.
Karen?
No excuses.
Actually, Sandy.
Yeah, that was the biggest one. Is I wrote down all the excuses lead to do it. Come up with as many as you want. And that kind of couples in with, I think I shared earlier, now is better than perfect. Because I have some perfectionistic tendencies too, so I find that, okay, no, you know what? Just get it out there. Get it out. Do something.
My last 2 customers I fired because they were perfectionists.
Uh-oh.
They're too much. Like I could not take it, you know.
Why are you hanging on to both of us?
This was before Christmas time, so when I made a decision, have you ever fired your customers? I fired about 7.
We had lunch.
They're willing to pay money, big money. I said, no. They don't meet my values. They don't meet my passions. They don't meet my dedications. They meet like 80%, but there's one fractional values which I have, which perfectionist. I hate perfectionists. I hate it. Like, you know what?
I can really feel it.
Yeah, man, it's 21 years of marriage, okay? Anyway, we don't want to talk about our past life, okay? Anyway. Yeah, so, but as what Shamir was saying was correct. When I characterize his feedback to me, I feel he's perfectionist. He said it today, no, he discovered it is not the perfectionist. It's his high level of commitment to deliver. So sometimes we will maybe deem or maybe looked after as perfectionist because we have a fear of failure. I don't know enough about the website technology, so if I want to launch the website and something will happen to it, it may not work. So I want to keep testing it. It takes some time. It's not forever, the testing, because it needs to be launched at a certain time. So sometimes we have fear because, as Shamir was saying, because we try to maintain our higher level or above expectation level of integrity. Or we may have the fear that if we do it because we are not the expert and we cannot hire the expert because they deemed expensive, it will break down and fail. So I don't want to do it. So these are the areas when we talk about how perfectionist we are not playing boxing, okay?
58 cents, it's okay.
Okay. Marianne?
So what really hit me was his, one of my values is balance. And he was talking about that first thing was his spirituality, second was his family, and then his business. So it really hit me that you can have balance and build a business. And when we were farming, we always made sure that it was a balance, for family and doing things, because on a farm you can work yourself to death and never have any fun. And so I want to build this business, but my family is very important too. So, there has to be a balance there. And I'm a person that I think I fly a lot by my pants, just do, and then I find, I made some mistakes and I just fix them. So I don't have that perfectionist thing. I know you just want to get it done, and then okay, well, some mistakes, that's okay, just.
Huh?
Just easy and balanced.
And you learn from them.
Yeah, but still you can have a great business.
So how are you doing so far? Doing okay?
Can I share with you what you triggered?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So when you said spirituality comes first, which is a way of saying God comes first, then my family, then my business. So I would challenge him on that. And the reason I would challenge him on that is often spirituality is interpreted by by saying you have to give 10% tithe to the church. Okay, let's say that's part of the spirituality. If he was poor, he couldn't afford to put food on the table. Would he at the time make a choice to give the tithe and have his family go hungry? That was a true measure of what your real values are. So I would argue that he probably puts his family first, and then spirituality second. But that you don't know that. People say that just as I'm great, I'm a spiritual person, but really in essence, that's when push comes to shove, is that the value? And so when we look at our values here, we have to ask ourselves, when we're at the most stressed out, are these the values we're going to hold on to no matter what? Or are these the values we're holding on to only when times are great, when we've got $1 billion in the bank? That's really the question I want to know.
Well, I know Art really well, and he's coming from a place where the spirituality whereby give thanks for what you have.
Absolutely.
Give thanks for the blessings that occur in your life. In other words, gratitude.
Absolutely.
You know, so essentially that's where his voice is coming from, because he was a very poor man growing up,
Yes.
and that was the core of this outlook, whereby they have the spirituality and they have the family unit always living together, and that's where he's coming from, not from a monetary
So
tithing thing.
like
But we
Weil
don't
said.
know that from listening. to
Yeah,
them.
and that's why I'm sharing it with
Yeah.
you.
But that's
because-
what Weil says, is that when people say, these are my values, it's really individual interpretation
Yes.
of that, right?
Mhm.
So, but if you think about when he said it in the platform, he said it, and the people that were listening to it, they were from the church.
Yes.
And
No. They were not from the church.
Well, who is
They
it?
were the advocate
It was
who are the
national-
broadcasting.
Fair enough.
So they are not from the church. They are the advocate, much worse.
But much worse. But what I'm saying is that
National Religious Center, yeah.
when they talk about spirituality wouldn't exist with any of those organized religions unless tithing was a part of it. They couldn't afford to pay themselves and put buildings up.
At every time you speak, I'd like to pause you because there's so many important reflections I want to make.
Okay, fair.
At every time, like I had like 5-6 reflections in my head, and actually I start to forget a few of them. But one of the most important things you mention here is the context and the location and the audience will dictate what you say. So if I'm standing in a law of transformation or holistic earth or any of these groups, I cannot say a story about the new ministers they have in the church. I cannot talk about God comes first or my passion. I have to use the language which get me to be accepted to these people. Okay? So the context, when people listen, usually we don't have the time to be able to dig and understand why things are being said in this way. The way he was talking and the rhythm and how it goes and the way he was preaching, because I know of him so many other talks. This is maybe the only one where he preaching in this way, because he talks to the advocate of the preaching. So these are not preachers, these are actually this much worse. Like they do. So he is using their language. He's using their gestures. And if you see the video, which I didn't wanna distract with the visual, but on YouTube you can see it. He will look like them. So if you go to any show or you go to any event and you try to tell stories, which will be one of our topics, hopefully today or tomorrow, you have to have enough stories in your pocket to relay and reflect to your audience. The story cannot go away in a different context. So for example, to give a quick example, I cannot give you a story right now about a kindergarten kid, because none of you either have a kindergarten kid, and none of you is in kindergarten, I believe. And if you maybe have a grandkid or grandson, it's not that common across of the room. But I can talk about a teenager in your life. That's right, because majority of us will have a teenager, either as a kid, a son, a son-in-law, a stepson or a stepdaughter, or we will have some. So the reflection I want to make sure is whatever, not Art William, whatever our Shamir is saying, our local Calgary Shamir is saying, it must match your audience to build a connection with the audience. So he is in a community of who admire what, who respect what? Spirituality. Family values. He talks about his wife. What was the toothpaste question? What was the toothpaste example?
Well, his wife didn't put the cap back on.
On the toothpaste.
Okay.
Toothpaste.
You can tell how often I heard this one, because I memorize it. So this kind of question of examples he uses it comes from the community he's talking to. So this is one of the huge learning from this guy. He passed away some time ago, not long time ago, but he's he's a master of what he was doing. He got a company and he made it multi-billion-dollar companies, not million, billions-dollar companies in very few years, using network marketing for selling insurance. This is what his company is. There's a few other things you mentioned was very important. Yeah, I want to mention one thing about, I promised to say, about integrity and honesty. That's you. Integrity and honesty are overused values. And for me, this is my personal view of it. If somebody will come and say, I now value integrity, my question is, what did you value before? How you were business? How you were driving business before without integrity? For me, integrity and honesty is a foundation. Is like our blood. Is like we breathe air. It's something, if you don't have it as a fundamental piece of your thoughts, actions, whatever it is, you shouldn't be with us in one room. Okay? And if me or anybody, like everybody and somebody, may have some issues with being under a low time or under special circumstances where integrity and honesty was not foreseen in his actions, and I hope you to understand what I'm saying here. It's okay to recognize that and move back and try to make it as recognized block of your life. But for me, this is not a value. When you say integrity, it's a basic business. If I promise, you will get. And if I promise and I cannot deliver, what I will do? I will send you an apology. I will send you justification. I will not leave you outside in the dark about what I promised. That's right. I justify it. So this is my perception on integrity and honesty. And when I go around and share this with different individuals, they look at me and say, yeah, it makes sense. We will remove it. What drives me to this particular two values, when I did so many work with holistics and acupuncturist, massage therapist, physiotherapist, chiropractic, all of these businesses will have in their values, so they have vision, mission, and values. What they will have in their values? Honesty and integrity. Like I got sick out of it. Like I had like 20 some customers coming in like 4 or 5 months. All of them in their values. Integrity, honesty, and oh God, give me a break, you know. If we don't trust each other, we have a problem. We have a serious problem. So why do you even list it? I will take integrity and say, I will put my customer first. In our culture, customers come first. Remember when we used to walk to stores and say, customers always right. Do you remember this sign? Used to be in retail stores. They remove them right now.
And you break it, you take it.
Yeah, this is what you have right now. Oh,
No shoes, no service.
you know, one of my friends from Poland, he has a store to fix vacuum cleaners. And his price list says the following. It's $45 an hour if I fix it.
Oh, yeah, I've seen
It's $75 an hour if you tell me how to fix it. And it's $110. It's $110 per hour if you want to stand and see me fixing it. It's near Northland Mall, his store. And every time I go there, it's a very interesting sign. And you can tell why he has such a sign. Okay? Because usually people come to this store, they want to have the cheapest possible service, and they want to tell him how to fix things. Or they want to watch him because they want to make sure he does not break it. And when I had I know him for like, I've been here 19 years, so I know him roughly 19 years or 18 years and a half. And after some time I came and said like, why you have this sign? Like, can you justify why if you want to watch, you will pay more than when you tell me he said very simple, because when people come and watch what I'm doing, they start to get emotional and they say things and they confuse me. So what I have in my hand, it will break. So this kind of signs. So my point is, when you look at these values and you want to articulate them, you may be careful and watch out that they can be interpreted by somebody else. If you say I admire or I regard honesty and integrity, okay, so out your business, what you do. So if you want to say customer service first, customers come first, we value our customers, we value our customer needs, it may have a better reflections. And the way to know is this reflect or not is to go and ask questions. Write both of them and go give it to someone and say, which one do you like? I came up with my values or my business values, and I have a choice between these 5 or these 5. Or would you mind rank for me out of the coming 7 or 9 values, the top 5 which you like in my business? This is the 7 or the 9 which we decided to have. And we have our own ranking, but we would like also to seek your input. Take it around, go to one of current events and you'll see there so many interesting, very organized networking events, and you see so many individuals, and you can ask a question, because we always, in this event, this is a question, what are you looking for help? So you can ask people like, this is what I'm looking for. Go to your surrounding, go to your family, which is I don't recommend, because you never practice your business on your family and you never get them to be engaged, to give you feedback, because they are not your customers. Okay? Any more discussions on Art Williams? Yes, sir.
So I hear you talk about integrity, then, but I'd like to challenge that. So what about love? Aren't we supposed to all be loved? Aren't we supposed to all feel caring? So if we have the value, does that mean that we're not, or we are? I'm just not sure.
Love, in particular, it resonates with a specific groups of people who experienced no love in their life and have been treated, abused as well. So when I value love and caring, my values I will get right away. So love, which is a very interesting pick for you, it's a very unique one. So if you want to work with individuals who had hard time in their life, who are not trusting themselves or anybody around them, they never feel, and there are so many of them, and I feel sorry for them, and there are so many of them are indigenous, unfortunately, in this country. There are individuals I meet, they're like 19 to 23 years old, and they came and said, we never got a really warm hug. Can you just hug me? And for no reason, these people had not been hugged and feeling the warmth of a friend, brother's, husband, or dad, or family related hug. So when you sit with these communities, you will acknowledge the value when 6 around the table will say, there are 6 out of like 14 today, to come and say, love is our great value or one of our values. So it's function of who your customers are, what you target, what you want to do. But honesty and integrity is across board. It has to be there. Okay?
So can I?
Go ahead.
So when I was picking my values, I picked the values that I use as filters or lenses through which I decide whether to move forward in a business relationship or not. I've actually left a business, I've actually left a particular business venture because integrity part rubbed me the wrong way. They did not fulfill what they delivered. They lied through their teeth. So I wouldn't, if I were to actually have a brick and mortar place or my website, I'd say here are my values. I wouldn't put integrity on there as a value. What I would do is, it would be almost like a credo statement saying exactly what you said, right? We will promise and we will deliver on what we promise. That would be a statement. But for one word value, that votes as integrity for me. So in a sense, I think to understand what my values are, integrity and honesty, if they're frictional, If they cause friction with me, if that's not existing, then it's my mode of operation. That doesn't mean I need to use those words out there. To your point, is I can use the expressions of what that looks like out there to have meaning for people. So I think that's how I made this distinction.
For me, I think about my promise. My promise is more about commitment than it is about integrity. That's a huge difference. I know that on the men's time, they have this ritual, they say, who's out of integrity? Well, it's not really about being out of integrity. It's about being out of commitment. If we don't follow through with our commitment, we either have a good reason that is valid, or we're sloppy and lazy. It's either or, right? So my promise is about commitment, that I will deliver what I say I'm going to deliver. Does that make sense?
Yep. Okay. One extra thing you can do on your own, I will not do it today. I spoke about functional and frictional. So, what are the frictional values? Like for me, I know it's laid back, perfectionist, detailed. I have my own 4 frictional values. How you can come up with a frictional value? And we always write functional capital F because it's strong, and I always write frictional as script F because it's so. How I can?
That was more like frictional. I'm just saying.
These are about values, functional values, frictional
So
values?
yeah, right now we don't deal with values. We have to deal with functional values. So in my workplace, what are the functional values? What are the values which I admire and other people admire? Frictional is a values which will make friction.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do the exercise in the reverse way. You go to the same page, which is what's the page number, Sandy?
28.
28, and you can now pick up a different color or pick up different circle and figure out if you have a partner who has these values, business partner, personal partner, it doesn't matter. What will make you not work with this partner? If somebody around you has values, which one of those values, which one of these values you hate the most, that you cannot take somebody within these values? Okay? So you can do this on your own time, because I have another piece I have to go through it, because we commit to deliver specific content, and everything else on the peripheral of that is extra for you guys. So this is an exercise you can do, and if you do it before tomorrow and you come tomorrow and say this is the frictional values, we can have a discussion which will be benefit from it, because what we learn in our life, no matter which quadrant you are in, no matter who you are, what gets you along with people, because you share the same functional values. If you have people having frictional values and you did not distinguish them, you will collapse within 6 to 8 years of marriage.
Say that again, if you don't?
If you have frictional
Or
values
if you have.
and you surround yourself with people who have their functional values is your frictional values. Functional values means values you use every day. Frictional values means values you avoid. So if I am put in a group where my frictional values is their own functional values, what will happen? I will go every day and I will suffer. I will suffer and it will grow. Then what will happen at a certain point? It will explode. And this is why, if you apply this theory, and there was a PhD on this work at University of Calgary sometime last year, where they track down and they prove that if you don't match the functional, you should not be a group. It takes between 6 to 8 years for people to explode. And away from getting into details, because this is not the topic of today, I want to remind you is one thing. How many of you get into a relationship with somebody and then he decide to divorce them? Even friends. Like, you know, when you have friends, how you divorce your friends? You don't see them again, that's right? So how many of you had friends and have been in a relationship and with these friends and going around, going for parties, you know, and then decide that they don't want to get them anymore?
Well, you grow. You start to understand
And
yourself and you change.
when you decided not to go with them anymore, how many bad things do you remember now about these people? My experience is people will go along as friends for 2-3 years. They will speak highly about each other, and when they decide not to see each other again, and you ask, you will find each one of them has like a long list of the bad stuff these people did, and they have been doing over the years. And I always get shocked, like, why you did not solve this conflict early on? Okay, so this is some other aspects to it, and I should have somewhere online, by the way, my functional values and my fractional values. So one of my fractional, for example, is perfectionist. So any customers come through my program, it's too much perfectionist for me, I don't work. I work with people who put customers first, client first. Quality of service is huge for me. But if you want to talk about, I wanted to have it perfect. Not me. For me, I'm only jump above the line. Like, if I meet the line requirement and I tip on the top of it, I'm more than happy. Good enough to pass the test. Okay? Saying so, my GPA during my school is 4.0 out of 4.0. Out of 86 or 85 credit hours. In 2 years and 8 months. But I'm not perfectionist. I like to be good at what I do. I like to be confident, ethics, but not perfectionist. Same thing here, which is laid back. There's so many people we work with, and you'll work with so many of these. Because we are motivational speakers. We are coaches. We are not consultant. Consultant will sit and do the work. How many of you here define themselves as consultant? We are not consultant. So sometimes you get clients and customers, they will do the transformation, but they go home and they come back after in a week or two, and sometimes they don't even have their material with them. That's right. Sometimes they don't do the work. Sometimes they don't do, like, okay, we will leave alcohol, will not go on alcohol. Oh, sorry, I missed last weekend. Why? Oh, my friend came by and I felt bad not to say no, and I had to go with the bar with him. Okay, so we have been working together like to do an alcohol recovery, and you stopped doing alcohol for like 3 months, and suddenly somebody came. So why didn't call any of the counselor? So these people who are laid back and believe things will happen, they bother me a lot because I commit. I spend time with individuals. I spend my body and my soul. I put myself there with them. And if people are not really up to the game, I don't play. So I know my 4. You should know your 4. And sometimes you should articulate them with your potential customers and the client, because when the customer or the client will know that, most likely they will try to work around their weaknesses to meet your functional values. And sometimes it will be good to be friends, not have any business relationship. Okay? So do you have any questions on the homework for this particular page? Just to go back with the same list of values and ask yourself, which one of these values will let me leave my current friendship, relationship, or my current relationship if it existed. And this can give you some clarity on who you cannot work with or who you cannot accept in your surrounding. We can accept anybody and everybody if we know how. Okay? Any questions? Okay, so because we are on the passion, so we want to this is the last piece of today.
Thank you.
Is it Abba?
This is what? Which one is this?
I have a dream.
I have a dream.
I have a dream. Except she's still alive at the end of that speech. Huh?
Okay. Wow. So your passion fuel your actions, and when you integrate your passion into what you do, you are more engaged and you create a powerhouse of enthusiasm, engagement, and inspiration for those around you. When we have this particular module, and I had actually somebody attack me badly because they were doing work for the last 30 years or 35 years who they really don't like, but they have to do it because they need the money. Okay? And when you go around different cultures, there are cultures don't understand the passion. And I'm not sure if you met some of people from these different cultures. There are people who understand they just do the work because they have to get the money, not because they have to like it and love it. So there are individuals who will come to me and say, yeah, this is just a luxury in Canada because you guys in Canada have, what do we call it, health care, and you have retirement supplement and old age security and all kind of programs, and you guys are living on this turf of the did anybody tell you are in Canada on the turf of the globe, outside the world, on this particular bumpy part of the potato?
Mhm.
Did somebody ask you if the earth is flat or ball? Did you see this debate on the YouTube?
There's a lot of people out there with flatter society.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, but isn't that a
A
joke
lot.
organization? They really believe it's
They
flat.
really,
really
believe
believe
it's
it.
flat.
It's still happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, me and my wife will start to follow some of these things, you know. It came through different talk shows we have. And it become a joke right now. Whenever she say, okay, I have something to show you on YouTube. So we got this one of these smart TVs, so we play YouTube on it. So I told her, yeah, don't tell me it's about the earth is flat or a ball. She said, oh yeah. They have the evidence, it's flat.
The evidence.
Oh yeah, there is NASA evidence it's flat, and there is NASA evidence they hide away from you to prove it was flat. And the reason for you not to go to South Pole and have no people living in South Pole, because there are secrets over there, and this is where the edge of the flat disk is. You know?
Belief
Oh,
system.
and other things is, when you fly in the plane, will the plane fly like this to catch up with the curvature of the earth, or will fly like that flat?
Don't even get me started on the moon landing.
Or is it real?
So this is our very healthy discussions, by the way. If you can make money and being famous through it.
Did
Okay?
you see the movie called The Gods Must Be Crazy?
Yeah.
The funniest part is where the one guy is trying to get to the edge of the earth and throw the Coke bottle away.
So this kind of debates are very healthy. If you can get in and get so many followers to watch your channel, and you make money out of it. And there are professional individuals who are always at the end of this talk. Yumi, she's a stand-up comedy from Japanese heritage. She's Canadian, born Canadian. And Yumi used this kind of debates to empower and fuel her shows. So when she's on the stand-up comedy, this is our part of her business, is to make jokes of that. So these debates are very healthy. It also shows something very unique. The level of conversion between us on social media will stop with the meddling inside the election. The officials will have to control how much and how open we are to each other. Okay, so Facebook and life end will come. We'll have another Armageddon around Facebook. What was it? We call it the Cyber Armageddon.
Armageddon.
Yeah, Cyber Armageddon.
I think there's going to be another level of.
Yeah, but if we call it Cyber Armageddon, everybody follow me. We'll be famous, guys. You know.
Well, there was something that happened just a couple of years ago in the U.S. With regards to domain names and being able to have public and private, and the U.S. sold the rights to public domain.
And that's why you have .info, dot other extension. It used to be like .com, .ca, .org, .net only. Right now we have all of these other new extensions.
Well, and then the dark web.
Yeah.
And the dark web.
Is it the dark web true?
Yes, been there.
You've been in the dark web?
Yep.
How dark is it?
It's dark.
You should come here.
There's people on the dark web that you can actually hire hitmen and do drug deals and don't go in there.
So tomorrow you can give us a lecture on that?
No.
Why?
It's scary. It's really scary.
I want to be scared. I watched the movie. I watched the Halloween 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, they sell all kinds of stuff in there, including personal information and
that they got from Equifax.
Well, yeah, not necessarily from Equifax. I mean, people go on to Facebook and they play those silly games like what's my Disney character? And right now, all of your personal information that was on Facebook has been virally picked up and taken to the company that has that. Like, there's so much stuff out there. It's just really scary.
I did not encounter it yet, but I'm looking forward for it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So if we go to the passion level, coming back to topic again, if you go to page 34, what would I do with my summer if money were not an issue?
What would I do with my summer?
If money is not an issue. And when I ran this one a few times to a corporation, and some of the employees will say, "Will you show this to my boss?" I said, "No, it's your book. You keep it. I'm not to take it."
And create summer another time of the year and go somewhere warm.
So, do you want to share this particular question? Is it safe to share these questions?
Sure.
So, Didri, what will do if?
I'd spend more time with my family and friends.
Okay, Ahmer.
I'll do cruising, world cruise.
Margaret.
World cruise.
Margaret.
I'm kind of.
On the cruising ship with him. Okay.
No, I'm saying like, as he goes to make water wells and stuff, like engage in a project like that to help others.
Okay, Marcel.
Traveling to one of the countries I haven't been to yet. South America, like Argentina, Chile. Huh?
South Pole? Is that the edge?
This is very far south, but after this winter I prefer to pick a warmer place. But no, maybe South American countries.
So do you know why airplanes will not fly on South Pole, on Antarctica? Sorry?
No. There's the Bermuda Triangle.
Because they're creating the sun simulator over there.
That's right.
No, because when penguin will look up like that and fall on their back, they cannot stand back.
Oh,
so they will kill the penguin population of the earth. This is the reason. This is the scientific reason. When you see a plane coming by, will you look up there like this?
Yeah.
So penguin will just look like this, and when they fall on their back, they die.
How do
They can't get up.
Get back up again.
They cannot stand up again on their feet.
Are you serious?
Yes, yes.
Well, God didn't think about that flaw in the design, eh?
Exactly. The plan was see how perfectionism.
There's values of a perfectionism, right?
If there would be a German penguin.
Someone like Miles says,
Yeah, but just to I don't want to take long on this particular topic, but just to reflect on your question, on your feedback, I can give a very strong statement. God does not even exist in the South Pole because there is no single building to worship God over there.
Okay, that's true.
Okay, so God does not exist in the South Pole. Okay, so it's not a wrong of creation of the penguin, but God is not there. We don't
I
want
want to teach penguins how to pick up other penguins and fall on their back.
No, just roll into the water, then get back up.
Yeah, happy feet, you.
Yeah, and if they stand in the middle and there is no water, what they will do? They will die.
Yeah.
You never heard this before?
No.
I was that young. I was that short.
Is
And
that
now you
the
go
same
to
as the
cousin
cyclo
Google.
gougers? The ones that make the rings around the mountains, you know, that goat breed that has the one side of their body, the legs are shorter than the other side, so they constantly have to walk around.
I'm not aware of that, but
Really? I have this with my arms.
okay, guys.
Which mountain are you from?
I hope the food did not have anything unusual, okay? What are my favorite activities? What are your favorite activities? And remember, favorite activities is with S, so it's a plural. So you should list 3 to 5 to 10 activities. If you are done with this, we can go to the third question, which what type of people am I drawn to? What type of people am I drawn to? What's going on, guys? What's happening?
She's telling jokes.
Tell me the joke. Tell me the
That's
joke.
why I'm drawn to her. She's drawn to stick people.
Sick people.
Stick.
Stick.
Thick.
Stick.
Stick.
Drawn.
Drawn.
To boats.
I'm a little slow. I'm French.
No.
To draw.
Oh.
So drawn to. It loses
I don't get it.
all its emphasis when you have to explain.
It's emphasis.
And this also,
Sometimes that happens.
and this also should give you an idea that sometimes the stuff are very obvious for us. And I use the word stuff, which basically a word I share with my customers, never use it. You don't use thing and do not use stuff. But sometimes I use stuff because I want to, what he's saying, stuff. Sometimes we understand and we can articulate concepts and ideas, which is very easy for us to understand. For the other people, it's not. So jokes does not resonate with everybody. And you remember this lady when I was giving the talk in this group for
Yeah, you use the word prostitute, that's why.
She came in last time.
Yeah.
I was a speaker on the stage.
Yeah.
She went to the organizer. I have to be careful not to tell the stories. She was sitting there for 3.5 hours, very uncomfortable because I was in the room, and she was just triggered over there. I went to Monique. I said, Monique, like, you guys need to solve the problem. Like, bring her to a discussion. She said, I told her, you are a nice guy. We know you. You have a big heart. You do this. You help us a lot. I said, yeah, but like, it's just somebody. And I apologized to her at the end. I said, you know what, like, if it hurts your feelings, it's just the example. Like Tony Robbins used the F word all the time.
Yeah, but you didn't use F word. You just used a story about a prostitute.
And she didn't like it.
She didn't like it, but I mean.
But she was so offended.
Well, then she shouldn't open up a Bible.
I don't know, man.
That's got those words everywhere.
I don't know. She was so. I don't know. So be careful when you share stories, in particularly jokes. And if you tell a joke and nobody will understand it and laugh at it, what do you do? Oh, guys, this was a joke. Why didn't laugh? They will fall in love. That's right. Another tip we use. Would you mind me telling you a joke? Do you want to listen to a joke?
Yeah.
Let's laugh first. So if the joke will be silly, I will get to your laugh, and people will laugh, and you keep going. You use this to change the mood of the room. Okay? First question, what kind of stories in the news always capture my interest? Yeah, if you have Greg Chandler here, what he will say?
Who?
Greg Chandler from BGIP Group.
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know him?
Greg Chandler, yeah.
What he will say about the story in the news? What kind of stories in the news always capture my interest?
Something something about specifically to NDP's failing or NDP's doing something idiotic. That's what would capture his
Yeah.
His name keeps coming up in my world. It's so funny.
So what kind of stories in the news always capture my interest? So can we share on this one?
Yeah.
Christine, you want to share?
Dogs and music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shamir, what stories?
I had a bunch, but I said usually when it's inspiring courage or focus on the good in the world, but then there's also something funny. Like somebody told me, I was listening to a radio and I heard about not Timberlake, but Trudeau's costume antics in India, and I hadn't heard about it, and I started looking at it, and it was like funny. Couldn't believe it. So I dug deeper into that. So something funny.
Good friend.
I like psychology, leadership, and men's issues, and war. Anything war.
Wow. That is what you will. What's yours?
Well, if I'm allowed to watch the television, because the male in the household has the channel changer all the time. But actually, I don't watch much TV. So when it is on, I like good news stories or things.
So why did you relate? The first question is, why did you relate news to TV? Because we have newspaper. You know, when you
I
go.
don't get a newspaper.
We have on the internet Google News.
I don't.
We have on the radio news.
Yeah, I don't. I got so tired about 6 or 7 years ago of listening to all the horrible stuff going on that I decided I was not going to listen to it any longer. And so I stopped. And so I just don't.
So you don't see my friend Donald Trump on the news?
Your friend Donald, Agent Orange?
Oh my God.
That's funny.
So what kind of news will intrigue you or you'll be looking for? It's not if you sit right here and you wanna call somebody to ask them about a specific type of news. I wanna.
It must be inspiring and it must be heartfelt and it must be helping somebody else.
Okay, so this is a kind of news. So if you are not usually engaged or exposed, I like the word exposed. If you are not exposed to news, you may reword the question that if I am sitting here and I am really eager to know some news, I will call somebody and say, tell me about.
Yeah.
Greta.
The news is on in our house 24/7 on either CNN or Fox.
Oh my God!
So it's like
You
I
are-
don't have a choice, right? Like that's,
No, you have a choice. You have a choice.
Well,
Because this is
I
a right
do.
wing and this is a left wing, and you are in the middle. Okay.
That's true. But I choose to go to another room and just because
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Again, Marcel.
Science and social related topics, documentaries, and the global news on the North American side and the European side. We quite often watch the German news too, because I like the overall picture and make my own view on it.
Wow, that's good. Ahmed.
Yeah, I told our pipeline news when it's coming. And although in Calgary we should be watching news about weather. Watch out.
Mike, what do you watch?
You know what? I don't like to watch global news in the morning because they have a lot of life achievements of people, little segments of different people or different causes or fundraisers, and it just gives me, it shows me all the good that people are actually doing, and everybody, you know, the other stuff and the tragedies and stuff like that is just noise.
Yeah.
But I really like to focus on those stories.
So many motivational speakers right now, and personality changes or development, they recommend not to waste your time reading the news, or because it's really it can be heartbreaking. It brings negative energy, and I can share with you one more personal story. We could not figure out what the real story is. We learned that Egypt signed up with Israel an agreement for, I believe, 10 billion US dollars buying of natural gas to bring it to Egypt and then liquefy it and sell it elsewhere. So the news came as the government of Egypt, which has discovered all of these new natural gas resources, are going back to buy the gas from Israel. So the talk show comedy people said, yes, because they did not really find gas in these caves, and they will buy the gas from Israel to show us that our resources actually producing. Okay? Then somebody or other media site said, no, this is a private company which operate a natural gas liquidation or liquefaction terminal, and the Egyptian resources are not sufficient, and they want to bring more to be the hub, and we win against Turkey, which is trying to be the hub. So this was going like the earth is flat or is a ball, like or is round. This was going for in our group for like 4 days, and at a certain point I made a decision. You know what, guys? We don't care. We are here in Canada because it's just you don't know from the news what's true, what's false. Okay, Karen? Oh, sorry, Breen.
No, I'm with Deirdre. I like heartwarming stories and like
Okay, Karen?
I have not watched the news, read the news, listened to the news in 20 years. If I was to, it would be about contribution.
And you have a good life.
Thank you.
So you didn't see my friend. Not Donald Trump this time, another friend, okay. Sandy.
Yeah, I also stopped watching about 10, 15 years ago. Actually, I listen to CBC every now and then, but mostly goodwill, inspirational, music, and travel. So otherwise, it impacts me so deeply.
Okay.
That I would wait until the end of the broadcast because that's when I knew the good stuff was coming on. And I just wish it was inverted and tempered in a way
Hello,
that...
PVR.
Pardon me?
Hello, PVR.
Or internet.
Yeah, exactly.
I just
Right.
fast forward all the crap. Oh, there's a good story.
Yeah.
They're interviewing someone from the music industry or a band.
Right. But yeah, it really affected me big time. So I thought, okay,
Okay.
so I'm just going to get little snips here and there, what I need to, and the
Oh,
rest
yeah.
is all goodwill.
Well, I have a broad interest: animal, inspiring, something funny, nature, health, little bit global news, but I have to admit I have a fascination with Trump.
Me too.
And I look for the fun in it. And I also look at the Dutch news because they have incredible funny things about Trump. They can make little clips and jokes about him which are hilarious and probably untranslatable. But and I had to switch my mind around because I was getting so upset about him that I had to change my mind and say something good is coming out of this, and I'm just waiting for something funny and stupid, and I'm just waiting till it's really gonna go south.
You know Trump. If you deal with if you have interest of personal branding, Trump is the god of it. He is the god and the prophet of personal branding. He's the one who exceed Oprah Winfrey brand by billions of dollars.
But he lies through his
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day,
That's his brand.
what is the value? What is the value of a brand? What is the value of a brand? When you say the brand, people will listen. Like when he has this bold, and they'll show people how he has bold, and what are you doing? Like you're a president of the United States. He has a brand. The one who was trying to capture his brand was Justin, and Justin went to India and screw up. But somebody is out there on reality TV, on all kind of things. He is a brand. He is the one which his name worth money to be put to buildings. So agree with his policy or don't agree with his policy is different story. I'm not in favor of him. I'm not against him. I have my own opinion for my own self. But if you want to understand what is the value of a brand, it used to be Oprah Winfrey. It's Martha Stewart. With all respect for these two individuals, Donald Trump actually exceeds them.
And Ellen.
And what?
Ellen.
Yeah.
And Ellen, but Ellen comes after Martha Stewart and Oprah Winfrey in terms of the value of the brand. But if you look at anybody like Steve Jobs, by the way, Steve Jobs is not a brand. And there's actually a group in Italy who can produce product called Steve Jobs clothes line of clothing because they did not register. But Steve Jobs, the fellow from for Microsoft,
Gates.
Yeah, Bill Gates and his wife. These are not brands. These are individual famous leaders, but they are not brands. They did not monetize their brands.
What about the Clinton Foundation?
No, the
No,
Hillary Clinton is a brand because she will go stand anywhere. $275,000 we paid her for 1 hour talk. She's a brand. You like her, you don't like her, you are with whatever side, it doesn't matter. But these are individuals where they put their names there, along with Anthony Robbins, along with Deepak Chopra, along with all of these names as brands. We know them, we don't know their organization. Like, do you know Anthony Robbins or Tony Robbins' business name? Do you know Les Brown business name? Do you know? But we know Big Potential, and we know. Skip my mind right now. But we don't know Millionaire Mindset. But we don't know TV Eckert. TV Eckert, we know him as an individual. He builds the businesses and lets the business go. So you have to distinguish yourself. Are you pushing a business, or you are pushing your name as a brand? Okay, so with all due respect to all opinions about Donald Trump, the Trump is the brand. And in my evaluation, he actually devalued his brand by being a president, because the president of the USA is much lower quality for such a brand to play. And now with Kushner and all what will happen to Kushner on his outside investment, it will become a very interesting story because people don't value. They shut down few places with the Trump names because he built all of these demonstrations against them. So it has to be like, but I like the brand. I like the guy's strategy. I know two of his personal strategists for his personal brand. some of the material we share in our courses are coming from them as well. This is a decent brand. Okay, Hilton, by the way, is a brand as well. Hilton. So the Hilton Hotel is a brand, but the brand was built long time ago. So even his granddaughter right now, when she's scooped in Hollywood and stuff, Paris Hilton, she is not putting the brand up. But when he started, it used to be a brand. Was a long time, it's gone. Lipton, by the way, you know Lipton?
Bruce Lipton?
You see? Lipton, the tea, is a brand of after somebody.
Tea.
And after somebody, yeah. So, you see when you say a word and everybody have different aspects of it. Yeah. Anyway. Now we go to distill. And distill is, now is the time to separate the passionate activity from the real passion that lies beneath. You are there a difference. Yeah, you need to do this in order to find ways to integrate your passion into your day-to-day activity and even into your work. What passion and work? That sound like a counterintuitive match, but doesn't need to be. Often we cannot see the connection between our passion and our work at first glance. Do you understand that? Do you agree? But if you know why you are passionate about what you are passionate about, you can figure out how to infuse into your day-to-day activities. It could be to figure out what's about travel, ski diving, or cooking that gets you excited. It will be easier to find careers that can use those passions, even if you are not destined to be in the next beer grill or Rachel Ray. In the back, there are examples of passion. This is the toughest part of our workbook because it's supposed to be done one-on-one, but we cannot do it one-on-one. So it gives a couple of examples. The first one is, say you are a busy college senior with love to extreme sport. Lately, you have been really into skydiving. So what skydiving means for you guys?
Jumping out of a plane without a parachute.
Without a parachute.
Which means what?
Really? Without
Without a parachute?
Without a parachute.
That's called suicide.
Oh, without the parachute opening right away.
Oh.
Okay.
So you float in the air until the last minute and then bloop.
So this means what? This means what?
Daring.
Your love of ski diving is rooted into your love of risk taking. You thrive on jumping into the unknown and have recently great job to bring others along you for the ride. So somebody with this quality, what he can do?
Firefighter.
What he can do? What area of activities we do for living where it has a high risk and you can bring people into building a stick.
Entrepreneur, venture capitalist.
Yeah. So this is a kind of possible career. And if you don't believe in that, you have to believe that the royal family in the United Arab Emirates, they take every member of the royal family and they send them to a special academy in London where they do a personal qualification for them at year from between 10 to 12 years old. And if they find out that these people will be more suitable to run a business, they will decide to give them a special education pass. And when they tried this 20 some years ago, you can see everybody in these families are taking specific positions, and that's why we know about Dubai, and we know about Abu Dhabi's coming right now, and all these nice activities, and they did a amazing shift in an area which is next to it. You have the largest sand desert, and you have the longest coastal lines, which nobody has. Because if you can grow this quality and maximize the use of them, you will be benefit because this is a unique quality you have. Agree? Agree?
To take risks?
Not to take risks. Agree that this is the definition, or this is what you can take when somebody have a sky diving hobby. So do you agree that this can be concluded from being a skydiver? That your love to skydiving is rooted into the love of risk taking? Okay. What about baking? Because baking, how many of you here will do baking? I do. What's your favorite dish, guys? Can we exchange the recipe for a different baking you do?
I could bake chicken wings.
Okay. Okay. So even so, the opposite side of the spectrum, you're always passionate about baking. So baking is different than skydiving. The passion that lie underneath your passion activity of baking is your love to take raw ingredients, combining them, transforming them into something great. You also enjoy sharing the fruits or pastry with your labor with others. Does this make sense? Okay. So do you see how your passion can relate to specific activities or specific characteristics which can push you to the next level in your career? The hardest part is how to draw it ourselves. So the connection point is you can now see some common threads among your true passion and your future career options. You love the idea of risk-taking, you embrace the unknowns, you have a unique talent of taking a blank canvas of stuff and turning it into something great. You can energize people and bring them for a ride. This is why you are always fascinated by the realm of startup companies or new product development. You realize that sort of career path might satisfy your passion at much deeper level. So being a skydiver or a baking lover, they give you the same connection points. So now it's your right to distill. Where are the common thread across your responses when you have been doing the documentation and the distilling? And the following question be, why do I love what I love? What's the passion behind the passionate activities? So what you can do, because sake of the time, is today you can work out on the distilled part as well, on your own time. Right? Answer this question, what passion and work sound to you? And from that point, you can do the distilling part. And after distilling, you need to have the validation. And in the validation, can you bring two passion or two things you are passionate about? Okay?
Two things.
Yeah, passion 1 and the passion 2. So what's your passion 1 and passion 2? So Shamir, what's your passion 1, passion 2?
Well, my passion 1 is public speaking or stage performance. The second one is actually learning about different ways of personal development.
Okay. Somebody wants to share as well?
You know, it's similar, very similar to, it's my first passion is teaching, my second one is learning. Teaching what I've learned about life and then learning more.
Okay, that's great. So the last layer will be activate. So activate, look at how you can use your passion to build your brand and possibly from the foundation of your career. Keep in mind that it's just another data point and the stepping stone in your journey. The true power will be when you look across your strengths, value, and passion to arrive at your purpose. So how can you explore your passion? And how can your passion form the foundation of your career goals? And what type of career path would you value and leverage and underline your passion you uncover? So these are the areas where you wanna activate. So if somebody have a passion to teach, how they can activate it? Sorry, if somebody have a passion to teach, and they are not teaching right now, is this right? So how you can teach right now? Volunteer to any organization, get us and teach us for free. So when somebody will come in these workshops and talk about my passion is to teach or to empower people, we come and say, okay, when your last course was, when your last training. Oh, I did not start yet. So how long you have been building your business? 4 years. You didn't have a single classroom. You didn't have a single students. So what's your passion? Okay. So I will leave this also for you to work on it for tomorrow. Any questions for me right now?
Yeah, I'm not getting the flow here. We identified here.
So what after?
Things we haven't even identified the passion yet.
Yeah, because we have to go through the distill. So you should work out through the distill.
Was there a common thread across which responses? These ones here?
No, your responses. Your responses on the documentation, and your responses on the distill.
Your responses in 34, 35.
Okay. Okay, remember when Marcel was giving his feedback on this course, he said people usually do it 2 to 3 to 4 times because after now you are at this point, when you go back and answer your questions in 34 and 35, you need to expand to fill the whole space because now you need to find threads. Okay? Can we have a 10 minutes break? Last break, and then when you come back I will share with you our models of the dollar signs and how we can see people can take this passion and make money out of it. Okay?
Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.